y'all. Welcome to this episode of Cocktails and Convos. Happy St. Patty's Day. As you see, we are all wearing some hint of green.
I'm all green.
Which made me realize that I don't own anything green. So this was literally, it was between this or like a green tank top that I had. So, I know. So we are all drinking some form of green drink today. Hopefully you guys are doing the same. But we are going to just go ahead and jump right in. Sid, I know there was some stuff that you had mentioned that you wanted to talk about, kind of some stuff that had happened this week.
Yes. Guys, ladies, gentlemen, grown folk, this money that was sent out, these stimmies, were meant to help you, from everything that COVID-19 has set us back on. Not to go out buying Jordans, new cars, and everything. There's a story out now where this Indianapolis man killed the family, 4 murders all at once over stimmy. It's uncalled for, guys. It is not that serious. Then you got, here in Atlanta, several Atlanta. You have several massage therapists. Massage parlors. People just went in there and sprayed up and shot everybody. Just execution style. Then you have the story just last night. We lost a baby, a 12-year-old baby, over some foolishness. Guys, this money should not be messing with your heads that way. Do what you need to do to get your own, whatever you got to do. Stop depending on other people. We losing people just because of the stimmy. Let it go. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're totally right about that. But I do think that, with that money coming out, because I know when the first wave of all this money that came out, there were so many people who were literally still in the same position that they were from then. So I'm like, not only were most people getting an additional $600 in unemployment, but then the money that they got from the stimulus, but it's like, damn, nobody saved it. You didn't. So, I mean, that was amazing to me to see how many people just took it. And I mean, there was a lot of people who did take it and invested in something or, really made things better for themselves. But
yeah, I mean, you had a lot of people that first stimulus that came out. It helped a lot of people catch up. Mm-hmm. Then the second one hit months afterwards. And, that is where people started acting stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then now you have this one that was even more, government. I love and appreciate everything you've done. Trust me, this money is helping those of us who are actually using it to where it needs to be used. Mm-hmm. But black folk, y'all are really putting yourselves in that stereotype. You're really setting yourself short. And it's sad.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was a lot that was going on this week. What was that, yesterday with the whole spa situation? What do y'all think about that? Because I know, the narrative that they're trying to spin now is that, he's the guy who murdered these people is claiming that it was some sort of sex addict, and that's the reason that he did it was basically because he couldn't control his urges.
But it was in several locations. So you mean to tell me he literally went across the street here, went over here, went down the block there just to shoot up everybody?
Well,
right.
One location was an hour away from the other.
Right, because he started off in Ackworth.
Yes, he started off in Ackworth. Then he went down to Atlanta, shot up one parlor, and then went across the street and shot up another parlor.
I honestly think that was, you were in charge of a sex trafficking ring and you was about to get caught and you had to go clean up.
You think that's what it was?
I don't think he was.
My initial
conspiracy theory. That's me. That's
okay, because my initial thought was that it was racially motivated, and the fact that especially with COVID, there's been such an increase in violence against Asians.
But why just massage parlors? You got Asians.
Because they're primarily owned by.
Yeah.
But so are nail salons.
You're right. So I mean, I don't know. That's the part that's so crazy because it's it doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't make sense. But again, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think my theory.
But then there's also a lot of spas that are owned by white people, and he didn't go to any of those.
Exactly.
And black folk.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he didn't go to any of those.
That's why I think. I mean, you got a lot of movies where them Asian massage parlors was always, the cover for something else. You know what I'm talking about? So it was.
With the happy ending.
They probably had happy trafficking endings.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And that was my theory. That's what my thought process went to. I originally thought he probably went to these places and couldn't get what he wanted. It made him angry.
But in all
So
actuality,
you do think that it could be sexually motivated?
That's what I thought originally.
That you had to kill 7 to 8 people in each parlor?
But again,
Not in each brawler, but it was in total.
it was in total.
Oh.
It was in total. And that's what makes it sad. It's just like not one person lost their life, but now all these people are gone, not knowing if they left behind families, if they left behind children, spouses, whatever the case may be, because somebody decided to be selfish.
Right.
And it doesn't register to me. Like at the end of the day, family, it's like what thought process has to go through a person's mind to be like, oh, somebody won't roll around with me, so I need to shoot up all these people. Like that doesn't register to me.
Well,
there are people giving away ass in the street. Let's just
I
be
mean,
honest.
Now-
you did see him.
Did you see
Did
him?
you see him?
No,
He wasn't getting no ass.
He wasn't getting
No.
that. But
He has to pay.
there's
Every time.
always a sexual
He's
component.
paying every time.
It's always a sexual component, men or women. I mean, you got to think about, you have Black Widow.
But
She goes around, she marries a man or
But that's
dates
for a
him
check.
and sex. A Black Widow, once she mates you, she kills you.
Exactly, but there's always a check.
Yeah, that's normally for like insurance.
That's
and,
an
and
insurance.
stuff. That's
That's
more like
the
an
house.
insurance
That's the
thing.
car. I mean, but at the end of the day, that's still not a reason to kill somebody. It's not a reason to kill somebody. It's not a reason to take.
Nobody ever has a reason. Look at that baby
But
that
you're
lost his
telling her.
life last night.
I know that's the worst.
I didn't hear about that one. What was that?
A
about?
12-year-old
I didn't
child.
know. Yeah. It was a shooting in Cobb County,
Okay.
and he was in the parking lot, and he got hit by a stray
God.
bullet
Mm.
through the chest,
Oh God.
and it just makes you want to cry because. I have children. We have children. We have godchildren, stepchildren.
Yeah.
We take care of kids. I take care of total strangers' kids. Like the kids in my neighborhood, they are outside all day long in the heat, and it drives me crazy. I walk outside with a case of water that's cold. Here, guys, have some water. It's just the nature in it, and it just upsets me to the point of no end because it's just like these people. We're targeted. Atlanta is targeted. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but we're the only state that's completely open. So all the wild west,
Texas.
Now Texas, but we're the first initial state to be completely. We never shut down. Let's just be
not
honest.
at a fuel level. Yeah.
But now all of these people that came here and saw that Atlanta is lit, we're open, we're running around, we are not observing the COVID, bylaws.
The CDC protocol.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they stayed. They just stayed. So now they don't have any money. So they're like, okay, let's just start sticking at people. The amount of car thefts, break-ins, robberies in the city.
Mhm.
I mean, I work in a city and I see these homeless people out there and they're even scared to move around in certain hours of the night. And it just makes it a real eye-opening situation. I took about 20 plates out to a field that is right off of Peachtree Street. There is a whole community of tents of homeless people that sleep underneath the bridge. Family, this is real. This is a real situation. And it opens your eyes to it because if these people that are hungry, homeless, and without can still be courteous and kind and say thank you for a plate of food, what gives this man the right to walk out in the street and take somebody's life because they won't give him what he wants? If somebody does not make an example out of this man, if the government does not make an example out of this man, it's never going to stop.
No, and you're right. And I didn't know that happened yesterday in Cobb County, but I do have to say that to me, it just feels like Cobb County is becoming increasingly more ghetto. Like it's becoming increasingly like. And I mean that, like, there's so many places, because I remember a couple years back, I think the worst thing that I had heard was that there was like a string of car break-ins over by like Silver Comet Trail.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, why would you rob people on the trail when they don't have their wallets? Like they're jogging or doing whatever. Like 9 out of 10, they're not carrying any cash or anything useful. So But like within the last couple of months, like I'm hearing more and more stories to where it's like, what is it that's causing people to become this desperate? Whether it's like the money issue, whether it's just people are really like losing their sensibilities and values. You know what I mean? Because that young boy got caught up behind some other shit that didn't have anything to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So really, like, what is causing so much of that?
Like I said, I think it's money.
It's the desperation.
It's money. Whether you have it or don't have it, it's the money.
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes those kind of situations don't even have anything to do with desperation. Some of that is a lot of times like people in some sort of argument about some dumb shit, and it escalates to that, because we've all been in a place where people get into fights and get into brawls behind a drink.
Very true.
Yes.
You know what I
Or
mean?
you stepped on my shoes.
So it's like,
Or
what
you talked to my girlfriend.
the mindset that comes along with that? It's like,
But
what the fuck is that?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not a mindset. It's just reaction. People get glorified, promo. I don't even know what to say, because they get all this attention for doing stupid stuff. Oh, this man, he shot up the club, or he, killed these people. And they're all over the news.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I wouldn't air their picture.
But you know what? And I too, like I saw with the guy who went into all the spas, because the news has been covering it. Well, most news channels have been covering it as it's racially motivated.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because I think in this climate, that's a lot of people's initial thing was,
That's the first thought.
a lot of them, like the majority were Asian.
Yeah.
And women, and that's really just kind of the initial thought. So I've been seeing the hashtag of like, what was it, like stop Asian violence, or stop violence against Asians, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But even looking at that, like the narrative that the news is painting, I saw like even with a lot of the right wing people are still trying to defend this whole situation. I'm like, how do you ever defend people murdering somebody, right? So I saw a post, and I'll have to send it to you guys or post it later. But there it shows, somebody posted, it was like, oh, here's pictures of all the mass murderers over the last whatever. Yeah. And when I tell you, somehow they have finagled this thing where it was like predominantly black people and like a sprinkle of 3 white people. And I said, this is some bullshit. It's not possible.
Let's date it back. Majority of your major serial killers were all white.
I don't even think I could name a black serial killer.
There was only one black that I was aware of, and he had the farm, and he had bodies in the wall, and because he had a pig farm too.
Okay.
Yeah, he was feeding them to pigs.
He killed over 50 some odd prostitutes.
How long ago was that?
This was at least maybe about 13, 14 years ago.
Was that the one that they made the documentary about from here in Atlanta?
No. But they did make a movie from it.
Okay. Either
a movie or TV or one of those crime TV series. They made it based off of that.
Okay.
He had bodies in the wall. They found skeleton parts and stuff in the pig pens, and backyard was buried. They were only able to identify 50 women.
Oh, wow.
But it was well more than that.
Yeah, because the body parts were devoured by the pigs.
That's disgusting.
And that was a black man. So that was my first, oh my God, we do that?
And see, when I hear of like mass shootings, I think if I hear of like black people, only like DC Sniper comes to my mind.
Yeah, that's
I can't really just recall ever hearing of like black people just in general, because you might have a gripe with somebody and you're going for that one person, or it might be more targeted to like a small group.
Correct.
Exactly.
But I've very rarely heard of
on a killing spree.
No.
Seems kind of odd.
It is.
It very much is. And the thing is that none of it should be racially motivated, period. It's just a sick individual. Black, white, brown, yellow, whatever.
Yes.
You're a sick individual. And the thing is that if it's not identified, as they're young, a lot of times it's as they're young, where they are psychopaths or, schizophrenia, things like that.
Yeah.
If they're not identified and actually, helped then that's when it becomes a problem. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot of parents, and unfortunately black parents, that, you know, don't want to go get that help.
Well, yeah, because I mean that's a different conversation for a different day. Because I feel like the black community, we do not
Technically, that
acknowledge-
does fall into our subject as far as what goes on in this house stays in this house.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot that is just not acknowledged in a lot of black families. Like
True.
there are certain things that are just never discussed,
Very true.
right? Because
Very true.
culturally, we're always just told like
What
it's
goes
not
on
your
here
business.
stays
Like
Exactly.
whatever happens in here stays in here. But that's a great segue into what our actual topic is.
Our actual topic, y'all. We kind of got all
Our
topic.
actual topic today. So we have all been blessed and highly favored. We've
Yes.
all been subjected to hearing this phone call between Kirk Franklin and his son. I personally think there was nothing wrong with the call.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
And
I
I
don't
have
either.
kids.
I'm thinking in my head, there's no telling what happened to get to that point.
Exactly.
But I can think of several times that I've like threatened to take my son out.
So, you guys, for those of you who don't know exactly what we're talking about, there is a video that was leaked out that Kirk Franklin, the gospel singer, famed gospel singer, his son leaked out a video of him cursing him out. If you actually pay attention and listen to it, the video started in the middle of the conversation.
Yes.
Right.
To where Kirk Franklin was actually already going off about something that was said. He pissed Kirk Franklin off enough to where Kirk Franklin did go off on him and cursed him every bit of name and everything. But the boy, Kirk Franklin's son, proceeds to go on.
Man, that's a
Boy,
crazy-
he's a
Call it what it
boy.
is.
He's a little boy.
But he changes. The language changes it for
He
sure.
is 30, but like Kirk Franklin said,
He's
he's not
33.
30. Okay, he's 33, but not there yet until May.
Okay.
He's
but
not
still,
grown.
that's
But
very
still,
different
the way
than a
he
10-year-old.
But the
I think
way
the
he acted was like
had
a
he-
5-year-old.
But it doesn't matter. Had he been speaking to a 5-year-old,
That would
I
be-
think the
Then-
narrative
then that
It
would be
a
different.
different
Correct. That would be a
conversation.
different
Yeah.
narrative. But his actions, as far as you videoing this, because he literally has the phone that he's on the phone with his
Right.
father,
right,
and a recorder,
right.
and one videoing
Videoing
it.
it.
So
Mhm.
you are trying to get that attention. So once Kirk Franklin cursed you out, then you proceed to tell your father, who the fuck are you talking to?
He told him to
Shut the fuck
So,
up.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He
Yeah.
said,
Same
who
thing.
the fuck are you talking to?
Gloria
Shut the
would've been
fuck
down
up.
here.
Then wants the media to feel like he did nothing wrong. Parents, those parents who are watching, if your child, I don't give a damn, 10, 12, 13, 36, 42, tells you to shut the fuck up.
Ain't no way in life. I wouldn't even think.
Just tell me where to send the bail money, okay? How about that? How about
right.
that?
I about lose it when my son says what to me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Family, listen. Steve Harvey got on the radio immediately after this. Him and Steve Harvey are very good friends. And again, I'm not a huge fan of Kirk Franklin. I'm not. I'm going to be honest. But even at this point, watching Steve Harvey get on there and explain the situation for what it was worth, and he went to bat for this man, and with him saying what he said, listen, I have sons, and they've all at one time started smelling themselves and, you know, poked the bear just to see. He said, and I've had to put them all in their place. He was like, and if it would have been a regular parent, nobody would have a problem with this, but because he's a gospel singer, the church automatically was up in an uproar.
Because of the language used, but so what?
Yeah.
The language used was appropriate at the time. It's not like this man constantly speaks like this on an everyday
But it was
basis.
also
does it-
not out in
but
public.
does it matter though?
Right.
Because
But it's a
I mean,
gospel
words are,
singer.
but
It
words
don't
are
matter.
words.
My dad was a minister, baby, and I don't know how many times my dad jacked me up,
Exactly.
snatched me up, slapped me
Exactly.
down because I was a little asshole. I ain't gonna lie.
But serious, at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. The church is so quick to turn their nose and prop their head up and look down on a person because
Only
they're a
because of
pastor.
something that is out in public. What they tell you in church is when you sit here and you go up and ask for forgiveness, you're going up to ask for forgiveness in public because whatever you did was out in public.
Exactly.
But now, as far as if you did something not in the eye of the beholder, then you can be in your own household and ask for
That should
forgiveness.
not change it though.
It does. It still
That
does
should
not
not-
change
It
it.
says it in the Bible. You can't pass judgment.
Yeah.
Which is still very true, but you still have that everywhere. Look at the Catholic Church.
They're horrible.
Exactly. So it
I'm
doesn't
Catholic
matter
family.
what religion.
Most, I would dare to say most churches
They're not gonna.
are full of awful people.
Which is very true. Very true.
And I'm not, I
look at the preacher that was fucking on the camera.
I attend online
I don't
church
think
every
that's
Monday.
awful.
I mean, it's
What,
such as
fucking on
life.
camera?
No.
I mean, but life is life. At the end of the day, not a single one of us are perfect.
No.
We all are out here living lives.
And we're all in.
Everybody's having sex. Everybody, you know what I mean? Like
honest.
none
And
of
they
these
got
things. They all have kids, and I think it's so unreasonable to put just because you do Christian music that means that you can't speak the way that you speak. I mean, we're talking about just words. These are not like, I don't think people should really be defined by the choice of words that they use. If I want to say shit, fuck, goddamn, like if I want to talk like that does not affect my character.
You have bitch, damn,
Okay.
ass in the Bible.
Okay, but Sissy, that does not change these people's point of view. They went for this man's throat.
They did.
Now, again, I'm not a fan of him, but at the end of the day, I'm a parent. And by any means necessary, if my child ever comes at me sideways, and they all have, I'm going to tell them about themselves. I'm going to put them in their place, because what happens is when you don't and they go out in the street and they do that with a total stranger and you have to pick your child up in a black bag and a toe tag.
But that's the problem, is he's doing that. The son is doing that. Even the daughter, Kirk Franklin's daughter, came on and even backed her daddy and said, this family has been trying to support him, be there for him the entire time, and he always embarrasses them. He need to get off that crack. And if you watch each video that this dude is in,
yeah, he's messed up.
he's lit on something.
Okay.
But that's the thing. He holds his family responsible. He comes from another mother. So he's holding his father accountable for something.
Because he's
that's
still
not-
holding his mother's shirt tails and feels like they
Exactly.
shouldn't have separated.
They shouldn't.
That
but
ain't got
just
nothing to do with
because
him.
you went on and had a separate life and did well for yourself and can contribute to these new children doesn't mean that you don't love that child any less or any more.
Very true.
And that's what he's making this man pay for. And I think that's terrible. Because family, I've been through it. And anybody that knows what I've been through knows. At the end of the day, I will fight the devil for any one of my children. If I had you, if I took care of you, or however I got you. But you cannot disrespect family. You cannot put your business out in the street. And this hits home. This hits home so hard for me, because at the end of the day, you look at these people and you're like, damn, I gave up my whole life. I took care of you. I fed you. I bathed you. I kept a roof over your head, food in your mouth, clothes on your ass. And this is how you repay me. And it is a definite,
Ungratefulness.
it's a definite blow.
Well, see,
It's
and
a blow.
that I guess is the thing for me, to where it's like you were actively trying to tarnish this man's image,
Yes.
with the potential of decreasing his earnings in the future,
Exactly.
which to me is kind of counterproductive,
Because you don't get what you want.
because
No. Kirk has already cut him off. He didn't make it into school by himself.
okay,
Kirk did a lot of fighting and pleading to get him in school.
Okay.
He still flunked out.
okay,
Kirk got him a job. He got fired. Kirk kept giving him money, like as if he's trying to buy the affection. And that young man kept doing outlandish things.
okay.
Getting arrested, stealing, all outlandish things. If you pull up his record, he has a long record.
See, and I do think that kids lashing out like that, I think generally comes with kids of privilege, right? So he probably grew up with a certain amount of privilege to where he almost feels entitled to certain things,
He does.
right? To where you feel entitled enough to put this video out about your father, knowing what his reputation is. And the fact that you had the audacity to think that people were going to take your side in this was kind of the part that was a little bit astonishing to me.
Yeah.
But the saddest part, they did. The church came for him.
That was only, but it was only
That's
for,
only
that
because
was
I
only
don't think
for
it was
a short term, because now after the other videos have come out, there are more videos. There's a video now where the son is in the bed again, looking like he's high, talking about how there's more video and how Kirk Franklin recorded himself also. And he says that, if Kirk wants to clear his name, he can play the rest of the video, and how TD Jakes was on there as well.
Yeah,
He said he sought counseling.
Yeah, they said that
Right.
even in that call that they had the counselor on the phone
Mhm.
to try to minimize like the damage that was happening.
Which I
but then
doubt
the
it.
son, but I
There was
doubt
somebody on that video laughing.
that's probably whoever was with Kirk.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
I don't think that was the counselor.
I don't think it was the counselor or
I don't think that was the
TD
counselor because I think the counselor at that point had already gotten off the phone.
probably left the conversation.
Yeah. So to me, the way that it played out, because you can tell once the short clip that was picked up, that obviously was not the beginning. So
No.
there probably was a time where it was like, hey, we tried to get to this point.
Right.
Counselor gets off the phone. Son says something stupid. Kirk is like, if you, your little skinny ass, blah, blah, blah. That
Right.
actually tickled me.
It did.
Like, but then the part about I will break your fucking neck, that also, I can relate to it.
Right, and it's not it's sorry to cut you off, but I just think about the fact that it's not a real threat. It's like, yo, don't test me.
Hmm.
How dare you come for me in this manner?
Yeah.
Like, I gave you life. We have all heard it. We've all heard it in our lifetimes. I brought you into this world,
And now
and I will
take you out.
take you out.
Mhm.
I don't know how many times we've heard that.
I've heard it, and me as a mother, I've said it now.
Okay, and my mom.
You gotta stick with the old school.
Look,
I remember
it just
when
came
my
out.
mom
Just,
had originally, when I remember the first time that I thought that I was gonna buck up at my mom, I was completely in the wrong, but I was feeling myself.
Yeah.
And she came and she was like, I'm about 10 seconds off jumping on your ass. And I was thinking to myself, Lord, is this the day we fight?
Right.
And I thought to myself, girl, you crazy.
Hmm.
And I went and I sat my ass down.
Yeah.
But these kids are so entitled.
Mhm.
I mean, and he's not a kid.
No.
He's
A
33.
grown man.
He's 33. But again, of privilege.
Hmm.
Because I'm sure he didn't go without entirely in his life. Right?
No.
You know what I'm saying? So of privilege, and you're entitled and thinking that I'm
You
just
can do
supposed to
whatever,
get
say
whatever. You said he's drug addicted. I didn't know he was drug addicted.
I didn't either.
I didn't know he was drug addicted.
It was something that they said could potentially.
Like hypothetically.
Yeah.
No.
It's
No.
confirmed.
Sister came out and said it.
Oh, it was
Dad
something-
put him through rehab.
Oh, okay.
Now see, son wanted to air out Kirk Franklin's laundry. Kirk did not stoop to his level and
Right.
air it out, but daughter did.
Yeah.
Daughter
But see
did.
they're peers though. See, I think the way that
It's not the same mamas though.
but it doesn't
between
matter.
those two. Yeah,
But
it
they're,
don't
I mean,
matter.
they're still peers.
still
They're
peers.
still peers in the aspect of like Kirk comes from more of an authoritative position.
Right.
Mhm.
He's coming from a higher up position as his father.
Yeah.
So I thought that the way that he handled it was actually really graceful. I don't think he should have apologized, but I think
No.
even in his apology, he did what he had to do for his reputation.
Right.
And I think even in that, it was his apology to me was more so of like, hey, I apologize for this.
Mhm.
In my anger, I'm not a perfect person.
Mhm.
I used some words that were inappropriate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
right.
his son even still rebuttal saying, y'all heard how he apologized to everybody
So,
else,
sure,
but not
except
me.
for him.
You a whole child. I birthed. Well, I'm sorry. He gave sperm. I'm gonna apologize to you.
He-
What I said to you came out because that's love.
And I mean it.
And I meant it.
I meant every single word, and I'm going to stand on it 10 toes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
So, I mean, with all of that, do you feel like there's a double standard when it comes to people in public eye? Because it just seems like just like that, for having a human reaction, their whole life, whole livelihood could be taken away.
Very
Yes.
much so.
Yes, I believe it
Yes.
is because look at Beyonce when she took the hit with Blue Ivy, when her hair was all a mess. And, you know, everybody was like, oh, they make that much money. Why they got the girl coming out looking crazy like that? Just because you're out in public. But now, let it have been, you know, Mary Jane over here.
Shit, I'll be
I
judging.
can talk about them
I be
too.
judging them all.
We'll
honey.
talk about them, but here's the thing. How much judgment are you going to put on them? Half the time you look, say what you got to say, and keep it moving.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
kept this going for weeks.
Mhm.
Same thing with Drake's son.
Well, see, I feel like it's always wrong for people to talk about children like that. It's one thing to talk about the mother and feeling like she's not giving adequate care, but we all know that this child is taken care of. You know what I mean?
Well,
Very
Like,
What they weren't talking about the child, they were more addressing it to Beyonce
Yeah,
and
they be
Jay-Z.
talking-
How
they
you gonna
been
let that
talking
baby
about-
come out this
they
door
did
looking
talk crazy about Blue.
they've been
She
talking
was
about
so
Lauren. The same way they
They
talk
talk-
about D Wade's son,
Right.
daughter,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it. I
Same
think
thing,
it's just-
Magic, his
Yeah.
son.
Yeah.
They
But
talk
I mean,
about
but
his
he's now a
son.
grown man. So that's a little bit different.
How
That's
is
a
it
little bit different.
How is it different?
Well,
they're still
Because
judging
they're
Magic.
adult people.
Very true.
Right? So I think it's different when you look at D Wade's son. That's the child.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for a bunch of grown ass people to be online talking about this kid who's done nothing to them just because they feel something different.
Right.
Now, if this was an adult person, then it's like, okay, it's fair game.
right.
Adult people. But to have such strong opinions about innocent children, I think is so beneath adults.
It is.
You know what I mean?
But people have been talking about children. People have been talking about children since for
The
eternity.
dawn of age.
Mhm.
I read, and I think I mentioned this last season about a family member or a mother of a family member who talked about me, and I heard about it in my teens, but to me it always makes me look like I still would not speak to this person
Mhm.
till this day, because it's like I was 5 and you talked about
you were
me.
disrespectful.
And you know, you talked about me as a 5-year-old. It's like, what did I do to you?
Yeah. You and your grown ass
You know,
adult life.
You know,
Like, what are you going through?
were you jealous of a 5-year-old?
But you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people, a lot of adults out here that are actually jealous of children.
There
Yeah.
are. There are. You have a lot of women that are jealous
The devil.
of
I feel like that
teenage.
needs to be, can we make a note of that?
Y'all-
Because I feel like that needs to be a whole conversation about women who are envious of their daughters, to where it's
Ooh.
almost like they steal their youth,
that part.
to where it's like they live vicariously through them, and they just put
Yeah.
so, you know what I mean? They want them to live the life that they didn't get to live.
Which is very true. So, pin that on the next few
Yeah,
segments,
we can do that
guys.
next week.
We're going to talk about that jealousy, okay? But now, going back to, airing out the laundry, let's talk to our viewers. Like, how many of you, went out, said something about what went on in the house, and you got your ass lit up when you got home? Or even down the line when your mama found out?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I got my son. I got a call from my children's school a long time ago, from when they were in elementary school. The teacher she calls me and she says, "Miss Simmons, I just wanted to let you know your son, made a comment that you do drugs."
What?
I said, "Whoa, wait, hold on."
You said that out loud in the school?
In class. I said, "Whoa, hold on, time out, bitch." And it slipped out. It said, "Bitch." I said, "What the hell are you talking about?" He said he was meaning cigarettes. And they teach children in school, elementary,
Yeah.
that is drugs.
Okay.
So, honestly, guys, teach your kids, don't run their damn mouths, because you're going to sit there and have these teachers. Okay.
With defects show up.
All the laundry, the whites, the dirties, all that is aired out.
Just coming out.
So literally, if you don't want that teacher getting cussed out, if you don't want that neighbor getting cussed out, that girlfriend, boyfriend getting cussed out, teach your kids from the bottom line what goes on in this house.
Okay.
But is that not a double-edged sword?
I was about to ask that, because is there ever anything that takes place in the home that they should mention?
about.
Yes.
Because we talked about this last week.
Inappropriate touching, abuse. Yes.
Okay, but so how are they?
So-
How are they supposed to? I'm sorry.
We're asking the same
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
How are they supposed to distinguish what is
As
supposed
children.
to be said and what's not supposed to be said?
Look, damn it, if I got something going on in my house that's not hurting you, I'm not abusing you, I'm not disrespecting you, that shit don't go out my house.
But some kids can't determine, they can't tell the difference between being loved, being abused, and all of that, right?
Okay.
So there's a lot of times of where it's somebody else's perspective that's like, ooh, this shit ain't right. Because at 5 years old, 6 years old, our minds aren't developed enough to even know the difference
Right.
between.
These new kids are. this new generation, these kids are.
Wait a minute now.
Look.
2 tears in a bucket. I
These
ain't gonna
these
finish
new
So listen.
these new little generation of children.
I don't know what's wrong with these new little generation of children because my neighbor's children, hey family, they tell you everything. They tell you my mama boyfriend, what he do, what he don't do. It's the whole eyewitness news.
Now, I'm around a lot of kids that do as well.
I'm just saying, if you want to sit here and have, this your uncle Reggie.
Listen, you can't.
It just
You
well,
can't
it
have
just seems
33
like,
uncles, y'all. You just can't do
but
it.
no, it's so to me it's like so much bigger. It's so much bigger than the quote unquote uncles in the house. But there are literally kids that I know that will tell it all.
Oh,
They
yeah.
will tell it
Yes.
down to like financial issues. They'll tell it down to what kind of bugs they got in the
Oh,
house.
I know this.
They will tell it all. Now I
I
had a
don't even work
homeboy.
with kids.
Okay,
Go
but
ahead.
look, so I had a homeboy.
Not the second week.
He had 2 kids, right? And I used to keep them from time to time while he went to work, and they had moved into a place, and I see the kids after some time. I was like, "How's the new place?" They're like, "Nah, it's really buggy. There's a lot of bugs there, and I mean, it's just like I don't know. I don't like it because I feel uncomfortable when I sleep because they'll like crawl on me, and I'm like, bullshit. What
am I supposed to do with this?
I'm like, I don't even know how to respond. I'm sitting there, I'm like,
I'm going to buy cans of raid and some bombs.
I'm sitting there like, oh.
I'm gonna give a whole.
That's all I can say was,
I'm gonna give a whole gift set, raid and bombs and everything, hot shots, all
But
that.
in that aspect of where it's like these kids didn't know that wasn't some shit that they were supposed to say out loud.
They're not, because if they go to school and say that to the wrong person, they're going to call defects.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, very much.
This is the thing that I tell people. You can tell a child till you're blue in the face. Because my mama used to tell us too, if I say the sky is purple, yellow, and orange with green polka dots, you better say the same damn thing.
It's purple.
In all seriousness, no, I do think that there is an extent where that gets to be a little bit dangerous as those kids grow into adults, because then they almost have like learned to mislead and learned to lie and learned to
That's true.
to blow past the
That is
truth
true. That
and
is
have
true.
learned to cover shit up and
That
have
is
learned
true.
to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is really an issue, but I don't even think there's an actual answer to it.
Well, I mean, see, you can't even really respond to that because, again, like you said, if it's an abuse or something going in the house, you have these children's teachers that are in school. If there's something wrong at home, feel comfortable to say something.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, family, I'm a New Yorker.
Right.
And our mamas used to threaten our lives. You walk out this door and say anything, and I do mean anything besides hi, bye, cat, dog, you will be waking up wondering how you went to sleep. Now, I have a little short white lady from mama. Hey, white lady, how you doing? Yes, I came from a white lady. She's 4'11", she's short, and she's loud, and you hear her before you ever see her.
That's where you get it from.
Yes, that's where I get it from. But when I tell you she got a mean left jab, that's it. That's all she wrote. There was no child abuse. You call 911 in New York, they put you on hold. Like, you.
No, wait a minute, time out. Any child that calls 911, like I told my son,
You might get the 9. You ain't gonna get that 11.
oh, you can get it, but
I
guess
told him
what?
to go to
You
call him.
no. I called.
Yeah.
Now, wait a
I
minute.
remember hearing that a few times.
On two subjects.
Call
On two
him.
subjects. My son mentioned the 911, and I told him, I said, go ahead. Guess what? You still gotta wait till they get here. So that was one. Okay,
And this is not a high priority, so
Right.
it's gonna take them some time.
the second story was, I said, oh, and if you think about calling 911, here you go. I called it for him. Put it on speakerphone. The police showed up. I told them the story. I said, you can be quiet. I told the police officer the whole story. The police officer looked at me. He looked at my son, and he looked at me. He said, congratulations, mama. I want to pat you on the back.
Mm-hmm.
So you children that want to think you can call 911, two things I understand. You got to still be there till the police get there. One. And it depending on what neighborhood you get there.
Better forget.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
forget.
They don't come to bed for
I treat you better than defects will.
Hello.
Oh,
that's
that
what
part.
I used to always
That's
do.
what my mom
You
would
will
say.
sleep in a bunk bed with
I never
myself
even
all the
trying to
children.
call 911, but I
I
don't
know.
even remember trying to call 911.
DSS in New York is horrible, family.
But I remember her saying that to me. I bet you they won't treat you as well as I do.
My son has said that to me a couple of times, and I told him, I said, well, you go ahead, because you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that's gonna feed you, that's gonna clothe you, and I can almost guarantee you that the foster system, you better hope you don't get nobody that's gonna touch you. And I had one incident where it was like a run-in with the police, because my son was, he was about 13 at the time, and he really got beside himself, almost broke the window to my house.
Ooh,
Just
I know
really
he
showing
did.
out.
You
He
fucking
was
lying.
sending. I had put him out, locked the door. He's sending his friends up to the door. I said, "Don't you knock on my shit."
I can't even.
Girl, no. I don't play about my house.
I done put mine out twice.
I don't play about my house.
I done put mine out
So
twice.
to me, like, my house is the safe space. All the kids are welcome, but don't you get involved in no shit that's going on between me and mine.
Stay out of it.
I will call your mama.
Stay out of it.
And all your dirty
And I did. I
laundry.
said, do not knock on my door. Don't let him get you in trouble behind this shit. So that day, I'm here, and I left, and my mom was there, and I get a call from my mom, and she's like, Ebony, he is just so disrespectful. He's showing out, this and that and the other. I said, okay, I'm at work. I'm like, I got time to plan on how I'm going to get his ass back. I'm like, I got some time. And I'm talking to people, and I'm like, okay, I don't get off until like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go home, I'm going to wake him up, and I'm going to drop him off at the police station. So I got home, and I slapped him. I was like, get up. So I'm like, you can take one outfit, one pair of shoes.
Shit. If I pay for it, you ain't
That's
walking
it.
out my house with
That's it. You can you can have. You can even take the jacket.
it.
But
He got
I
a
was
lot of
like,
cool
you
stuff.
gotta.
He got
I was like,
free.
you gotta leave the phone. You gotta leave everything else. And girl, I dropped him off at the police station. They were closed. I'm like, okay. So I'm gonna drive him over to Bankhead, and I'm gonna leave him over there.
Okay, then you went back and got your baby.
So I done drove him over there. He jumps out the car and starts walking to the house. He was like, God, I knew how to get home. I'm like, okay. So I pulled back over. Get in the car. Get back in the car. I took him down to that homeless shelter on what is it? Y'all know the homeless shelter. It was like Pine and something.
Yeah.
Peachtree and Pine.
Yeah.
Girl, I was like, we pulled up. It's all, y'all know what it looks
They
like.
all
They're
outside. Yeah.
I said, get up. I'm at the red light. Girl, he done jumped out the car. My light turned green.
You made friends.
No. So my intention, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna just do a lap and come back and get him. I didn't realize it was all one-way streets. I had to go around like 4 blocks.
Oh, yo,
I had to go around 4 blocks. By the time I get back, he's gone.
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh shit, what did I just do? I'm like, oh my God, my baby. Lord, he lost. Oh, you think gonna get him? Oh shit. And then I got nowhere to call him. I ain't got nowhere to call him. Girl. So like the clubs are letting out. The homeless people are just like lit. Girl,
Oh, no.
I'm terrified. I'm like, oh shit. I didn't even know what to do. I'm like full on tears, hysterical. I found a police officer at Publix. I said, I dropped my baby off. I don't know where he went. I can't find him. Oh Jesus! So they put out a bolo, girl. I put a bolo out on my son. And they finally, I had gotten the police car with this lady. He riding around. She was like, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm like, listen, I didn't know what to do. He was disrespectful. So, girl, I'm like in tears. And she's like, it's okay. We gonna find him.
Oh, Jesus.
So I hear the call come over the radio. They're like, he got on an orange hoodie. I was like, yes. He got on a blue short. Yes, that's him. So he had walked all the way to Georgia State.
Oh Lord.
All the way to Georgia State. And by the time I got there, they were arresting a crackhead.
Oh.
He was just naked. This man was naked. They're like putting him in cuffs. There's one officer talking to my son. I'm like, oh my God. And that man came over and he told me, he said, Now I understand why you did it.
That shit backfired.
I understand why you did it. And I had the conversation. He was like, I had this conversation with him about, do you got any money in your pocket? Like, how were you planning on eating? Like, what were you planning on doing? Right. So don't disrespect your mama. But he pulled me to the side and he said, now, had he been any younger than this, we would have been locking your ass up.
Ooh. Look,
for child endangerment.
Oh, I didn't go as far as you did.
We haven't had an issue since.
No. Oh no, like I said, I've had to put mine out twice.
It's 9:26.
Okay, I've had to put mine out twice. He's now currently 17. Matter of fact, both times he was 17. So the first time he tried me, y'all. He tried me. I said, "Give me your phone. You doing too much. Give me your phone." He took the phone. He slung it.
Ooh, no, ma'am.
I promise you, I don't remember getting out of my bed having him yoked up on the wall before I had to realize, let me not kill this boy. I put him out. I knew we were home and I knew he had only three places to go because I know my child. When you put him out, you got to know your child. So I know he was only going to 3 places. One of 3 places. And the one place he went, the main one is his best friend, his brother. Mm-hmm. And his mama called me, "Hey, baby, I just want to let you know Jalen was over here." Okay. You want me to send him? Nope. I waited until he texted me, "Mom, can I come home?" Because my rule is, you disrespect me and I put you out, you will go out in whatever else. If I pay for it, you ain't going out in it.
Yeah.
He has a lot of school stuff, so you're going to be cameled up.
Yeah.
But if I pay for it, you ain't going out. And this last recent time, oh, baby, it was cold outside.
Yeah.
I pulled up, give me my keys, and I drove off. He thought I was playing. Mm-hmm. I drove off. Mm-hmm. Call whoever. You still had your phone. I even text him. Come Monday, your phone will be off.
He did have. At least he had the phone.
No, he had the phone.
At least he had.
But at least I told him, because I was giving him some kind of grace.
Yeah.
But I told him that phone will be off come Monday.
Did you turn it off?
FYI. Come Monday, you was texting me, "Mom, I'm sorry. Can I please come home? I want to do this. I want to do that. I understand I can't do this on my own." Because I told him, you gonna figure it out who really your friends.
That's true.
Out there in the streets.
Right.
So you 17 years old, however old you are, when you have a single parent out there busting their ass, doing everything they can for you, give them the respect that they deserve. Don't care what your friends do, say, act. Them friends ain't gonna be there for you. Understand, mama, sometimes even daddy, gonna be there for you.
And they mama's not gonna feed you.
Okay? Nope.
All right, so our whiskey today is Bibb and Tucker. This is a small batch bourbon whiskey.
This big ass bottle for this little itty bitty shit, y'all.
Oh, how much you want, girl?
I don't want no more.
No.
I got the Leprechaun
like
series. Just okay, y'all.
And open it up.
Like a cognac.
I love it. It smells good. It's fragrant. It smells sweet.
Y'all, I don't do this.
It smells like, I just smell like vanilla, honey.
It smells like I woke up like this.
Oh, this is nice. It's got a really light mouthfeel. It's not heavy. What do y'all think?
Like it. I like it. I like it a lot.
I think this is actually really drinkable.
I like it.
Need some water in it to open it up for me.
Yeah.
Really?
Can I have some of that white cream stuff there?
You better not. That's
no
$50.
bullshit.
That's $50 bourbon.
No.
I don't do bourbon.
Here,
Here,
do
drink
this.
some water.
Add a little water to it.
Add a little water to it. Just a little.
Take a sip.
Just a little. That's it. Add a little water to it.
I don't.
All right. Final.
You will never see me with no bourbon and no cigar. I can guarantee you that.
Love it.
We gonna work on your palate.
Smoke, I'm good.
Yeah.
I got a little smoke.
We gonna work on your
Good.
palate.
I like this. I like it a lot. Family, I give this an A.
Get your grown man on.
I'm from Louisiana. I ain't shit about that. Now you gonna give me some damn corn husk and I'm good.
Oh, that you can do.
I can do corn husk all day.
I got something for her that we're gonna try in a couple of weeks, and
Okay.
we got wine next week. I got something for you.
Lord, y'all.
Yeah, we got wine.
I already have the
We got a
Thunder series.
homemade wine.
They already talk about me. They already talk about me about my Thunder series, about all my vodkas.
We got a
Which I'm
homemade wine.
surprised. Like that you can drink, but this is too much. But this is actually
Look,
a really
even
good
Vanessa
drinkable.
said, even
good
Vanessa's
drink
on here
water.
said put a little
Vanessa
water
who?
in it.
Yeah.
Vanessa,
Hey,
hey, Vanessa girl.
Hey, girl, Vanessa.
She says bourbon is good for you. Put a little water in it, just like
Uh-uh.
you said.
Mm-mm.
I don't need no water. I like
Mm-mm.
mine.
Give me my Red Bull.
Oh, and we did have a few comments throughout the meeting.
We had a bunch of comments.
Yeah, well, a few. Danielle says hello.
Hey, Danielle.
She going back to the
Danielle or Dana?
Danielle.
Okay, because my sister
Back to
Dana
the
was
Cobb County, what you call it? She said Cobb gives you ATL without the price tag,
Right.
and it's coming up. It's up and coming, very popular, attractive area. So that's why the rising crime is expected.
Yep.
And the rising homelessness out here too.
Yeah,
I saw
it
a
is.
bag lady on Merritt Parkway at
Yeah.
the Target.
I would say, yeah. And
There's
then
somebody that be right there on Walgreens, right there
Oh, yeah, all
on
the
Cobb
time.
Parkway. She
Right.
be there and at the QT.
Oh, I haven't noticed.
Right.
I haven't seen
Yes,
that.
with kids.
And then she also said, luckily, the phone call between Kirk and his son was a call because it could have been a brawl.
She right.
Hello?
Kirk said, I will put my foot. I will break
Up
my
your narrow
foot.
behind.
Yes.
Mariana from Pennsylvania is out there watching, and
Hey, girl.
she was talking about
Hey,
the homicide, the mass murder,
Mm.
and she said it was disgusting. He could have been homicidal and legit mental illness, but wait, oh no, he just couldn't get no ass.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
and then Ivory, hey Ivory girl,
Hey.
All right, final thoughts, City.
Final thoughts on everything that we've touched base on tonight. Realize your mental health. Realize your mental health. Realize the ones that surround you, mental health. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. You know, like your parents used to say, that ass ain't too big for them britches. You know what I'm saying? So,
My parents ain't never said that.
well, I'm just. I'm so sorry if I'm country. Look, I'm sorry. I'm born Louisiana. I'm born Louisiana. Your ass ain't too big for
I
them
ain't never
britches to
heard
get
that.
your ass whooped.
Okay,
So,
let's do the normal version of it. Don't let your mouth.
don't bite off
check
too much
your
you can
ass
chew.
and
Gotcha. Okay. So that's what.
That's the one.
I'm like, I never heard
That's
Look.
the relevant version.
We ain't gonna talk
that
about
one I know. Carry
That's the
on.
relevant
Carry
version.
on.
So,
That's the country version.
That was deep country.
don't bite the hand that feeds you. Don't sit there and air out the wrong type of laundry. There are different types of laundry you can air out, but you know, like the retarded and the disrespected and the miscolored laundry, air that out. But the ones that's properly separated, don't air that out. But yeah, don't bite the hand that feeds you. You know, don't be ungrateful for those who step out of their way to help you out. You burn those bridges, you can't get them back. Ashes don't grow back. So again, mind your health, your mental health, the ones that surround you, mental health, and don't burn your bridges.
oh me, just in regards to everything that's been happening, one, just be safe out here. Watch it. Shoot, it could have been anybody. It could have been anybody. That parlor could have been anyone. Be careful. Be alert. Pay attention to your surroundings. And then, in regards to airing dirty laundry, a lot of things are inappropriate. Like when you're having a one-on-one conversation with someone, just because you don't like the way that it goes does not mean you should share it with the world. So you need to be careful about the damage that you're doing. And then also,
No, I just realized the whole big old plate of silverware is sitting right in the thing.
girl, I've been sitting here looking at it the whole time on the camera. I've been looking at it.
Y'all want a fork? Y'all need a fork?
Okay, I'm so sorry. I just looked at it.
I've been
like,
looking at it
Lord,
the
that
whole
thing
time
had
on
this
the
whole
camera.
skirt. Okay.
But no, so just be careful about the things that you choose to say, and be mindful, because you never know what's gonna happen and what's gonna what's gonna happen to you in the end?
Mm-hmm.
Because if that would have went left, then the help that he really needs, he may never really be able to get. And I also think that it's unfair to hold celebrities to a higher standard,
a different standard,
a higher standard, different standard than what we hold non-celebrities to. But I do see that trickling down into the regular world as well, because there's a lot of things that you can't do anymore. So just be mindful, especially adult children. Be mindful. I'm not talking about teenage children. I'm not talking about adult children. Be mindful what you're doing to your parents. Like they said, they gave you life. They
take it away.
And if they choose to take it away, they choose to take their freedom by taking yours. I wouldn't even put it past them.
Well, shit. We do not condone murder on this show.
We don't.
But if it happens, sorry.
Well, we do not condone murder on this show.
We do not.
We don't condone it, y'all.
But if you snatch resources, that's a different thing.
If you snatch a child's soul,
Take away the dollars.
take away them Jordans.
All right, family. You know, I'm always on my spiritualness, my goals, I just don't see how people lost sight of the value of life. And it all boils down to that. Like, the value that you give someone, you gave them life. How could you be so disrespectful? I mean, there are people in this world that have children that they never do anything for, and I still don't see the right rhyme or reason to be disrespectful. You can agree to disagree on things, but to take from another human being or to take life from another human being, it's just wrong. And you have to answer for that. When you take your last breath, you have to answer for that. Doesn't matter if you don't believe in certain things, whatever you believe in, whatever enlightens you, whatever guides you, whatever, puts that fear in your heart to do the right thing every day. I don't know where we lost that. And it scares me. It does, family. We've lost a lot of people in a short amount of time due to a virus. And then still the fact that none of this dawns on people and they still take life every day as if it's just nothing. So please be good to each other. Mind your manners. And just, how hard is it just to turn the cheek and walk another way? If you can't agree with somebody, okay. Or there's another day to argue with somebody else. But, love your family.
Okay, final words. I think right now, just the time that we're living in, everything has been so stressful, so crazy. People are literally into a space of desperation where the normal outlets are either not available anymore, or they've just changed, or we just have become, numb to a lot of things just throughout all of what happened last year and even like leading into this year. So I think that just as people, we just have to be better and mindful about the fact that we are not the only one going through something, that the person next to us is probably going through something equal, if not worse, than what we're dealing with. So I think if we just give the decency and courtesy to take a step back for ourselves and say, hey, let me just pause, because I don't know what this person's going through. And everybody has a moment. Everybody's entitled to a moment. Everybody's entitled to snap and spaz out and cuss and hoop and holler and do whatever they feel like they need to do. We've all done it. We've all had moments. And none of us are perfect. Not a single one of us are perfect. And church folks, y'all are dead wrong if y'all got on there and judged Kirk Franklin when there's a majority of y'all that are sitting at home talking to your kids worse, or talking to Sarah Lee worse, or talking about Mary Jane behind her back. All those things are the same. Yep. So the hypocrisy, all of that is just, it's not conducive. It's not helpful.
That didn't get aired.
Just because we don't see you, or just because we don't hear you, does not change the behavior. It does not change the character, and it does not change the intention behind it.
Right.
So I just say, just love each other. And I think that's all we got. We'll see y'all next week.
Have a good night.
Again, everybody, happy St. Patty's
Happy
Day.
St. Patrick's Day.
With your green drinks. Happy
Cheers.
St. Patty's Day. Cheers.